Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Observable Flutter. My name is Craig Labenz, and I'm your host. And today I am ending a month-long hiatus because I have been doing a lot of Google I/O things. I had the great pleasure of seeing many of you there in Mountain View in California. Also, there is here for me because I'm still in Mountain View, California, as that being the place I call home. Anyway, I'm excited to be back in the hot seat for Observable Flutter. I don't have much of a plan today, as you may have deduced from the thumbnail, which telegraphs something of a lack of a plan. But I didn't want to go like 5 or 6 weeks or whatever it would have been without a stream. So I figured I'd just check in and maybe we'll figure out something to work on. And yeah, June the 4th be with you. This makes June an ambiguous verb, but maybe we can all decide together what June would mean as a verb. Toy, good to see you. Okay, well, there's other screens that I click on at the start of this thing, so I'm going to do that, and now we can figure out what to do. So folks, oh, look at this. Whoa, this is like a color change. Look at that. That's kind of neat. Huh. Wonder how that happened. Anyway, this is the Flutter community. We all know what that means. And I think that's actually literally it. So, all right. Alrighty then. It's been a busy May for me, as it is every year. Like accountants in America are really busy in kind of March and the beginning of April because American tax returns are due on April 15th. So that's their busy period. And for my line of work, it is April and May, culminating in Google I/O. So that is finally in the rearview mirror, and I can think about something else again. Woohoo! I'm excited about that. Yeah, so I have a couple ideas for stuff. Actually, I have a single idea that occurred to me about 7 or 8 minutes ago now about what I might work on today or do today, but I also just kind of want to check in. Randall says, you can ask Gemini what's new in the Flutter world thanks to CloudNext 26 and IO 26. And yeah, I'm not sure if you're saying that I could do that on the stream or just general folks could do that. And general folks definitely could do that. Could do it on the stream. See, I bet it would actually get it mostly right. Hey, Maher Safadi. Good to see you. Hi from Germany. Well, hi from Mountain View to Germany. Are there mountains tall enough? Is it physically possible to have a mountain tall enough to see Germany from the top of it, from Mountain View? We'd have to get out a globe and like see if it's so far around the curve that it's not possible. From Columbia, Missouri. See, that's interesting. I always think like, so everyone knows the Levenstein distance, right? How many string alterations you have to make to get from one value to the next value. But I kind of want to have a version of the Levenstein distance that factors in keyboard distance, right? So this was presumably supposed to say Missouri. But the A and the I are not very close to each other. Unless you're using like a Dvorak keyboard, and then I don't know how close they are to each other. But always a funny... Always a funny thought to me. Like some keyboards you can fat finger easily, others not so much. Hello from Iran. Glad to have you here. You and I can get along at least. Spain checking in. I love this global roll call. This is great. All right. So Flutter Studio Official asks, what is today's main topic? And that's going to be kind of a thing that we'll figure out a little bit together. Maybe I think let's start with Randall's idea. That's pretty good. I could ask Gemini and then add a little commentary. And I'm going to do that. So let me organize my winders, which is a fun way to say Windows, because I think it's fun. So in a separate tab, oh, I guess I should do this in my like personal. No, that's fine. No, it's probably not fine. Okay, I'm going to visit him. I'm going to switch what I'm streaming in just a second. Okay, what is new? Now is the time. Now I'm ready. What is new in the Dart and Flutter developer ecosystems in light of announcements made? That's not how you spell announcements. Announcements made at Google Cloud Next 2026 and I/O 2026. And Flash is probably good enough for that. If Flash is not good enough for this question, then Flash is not very good. So here we go. We're running back from the Flutter Community AI Council and Hump Day. Similar thing. Great. Well, I love to ride the coattails of such successful programming as that. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing people are asking some good questions in chat, so I'm just going to star these. Great. Yeah, keep any questions coming, and I'll get to them. All right. The developer ecosystems for Dart and Flutter took a massive leap forward following the major announcements at Google Cloud Next 2026 and Google I/O 2026. The theme for the ecosystem this year centers on Flutter everywhere, every day, built by everyone for everyone. That's correct. Those are the words of the What's in Flutter keynote. Driving major shifts toward full stack Dart capabilities, AI, agentic user interfaces, and modular framework architecture. So this is all correct. And I suppose this is where I would add some color commentary. Though I keep having to mute myself because my throat has decided that I need to clear it every minute right now. So that's fun. Yeah, so major shifts toward full stack Dart capabilities. If you aren't watching live Flutter talks, and you may have missed, or if you're not like, I guess maybe this audience like is doing that. I don't know if I'm talking to the right people when I say if you're not following live Flutter events. But anyway, Firebase functions are trickling in to the Flutter community. You might recognize that as a thing that we've been waiting for years and years and years. So that is super exciting. AI agentic user interfaces. This is a new and kind of interesting way to phrase what we're calling Gen UI, where Gemini or the LLM of your choice stitches together UIs on demand off of a catalog of images, a catalog of widgets that you tell it it's allowed to play with. And those widgets can either be like really high level things that have tons and tons of business logic baked in, which, spoiler alert, is what I think is probably best. Or they could be really like fine grained, and then the AI can just get crazy and stitch together whatever UI it wants. And the modular framework architecture, which of course is presumably at least referencing the decoupling of Material and Cupertino out of the framework itself, which is one of the best ideas that I have read anyone propose in a really long time. And I'm glad that it has seemingly been met with essentially universal excitement and acclaim, because it is awesome. I was a little worried that there would be kind of this narrative of like, oh, Flutter's abandoning these things, or like disinvestment or something. And like that would have been an incorrect read at best and like a bad faith read at worst. But it's basically just neither of those, incorrect or bad faith. It just seems to have not really materialized. So everyone is seeing that clearly, which is exciting. Okay, yeah. So here, this is probably going to talk about Firebase. Yep, there we are. Love it. Now supported initially as an experimental feature. And I had hoped to use this for the big coffee demo that I made along with others for Cloud Next and Google I/O, but they kind of landed like right before Cloud Next. So we didn't have enough time to convert all of the Firebase functions from Node to Dart and be confident that we actually did the conversion, and we just ran out of time to sufficiently test the app again and reconvince ourselves that everything worked as it did when it was still a bunch of Node code. And of course, it would be easier to verify that it worked in Dart because of type safety, but it would still not be free, and we literally just had 0 time. So that project still uses Node, and I was sad because I'd hoped to use Dart. And Firebase SQL Connect. Oh, this is a thing that's not really on my radar at all because I have just not been aware of progress here, but maybe there is progress. So this is like actual relational data, like, yeah, Postgres in Firestore, but I was not aware, or sorry, not Firestore, Firebase. I was not aware of actually strong Flutter support there, but maybe I am the one out of the loop. All right, I'm going to stop and read some chat and see what I'm missing here. Okay, got good questions. Some that I just don't know the answer to, but I'm still going to star them and do you the honor of, do you the courtesy of saying, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. Randall says, yeah, widget splitting is the best thing in Flutter. Primary constructors is the best thing in Dart. So primary constructors is really interesting. It's a language feature that I just personally am not into the aesthetic of a class written with primary constructors. Maybe it will grow on me and I will look back on this moment and chuckle at myself. That often happens when I review my past statements. But it's just the aesthetic of a Dart class defined with primary constructors just like seems weird to me. And so I am like honestly currently not planning on using them, but maybe it is actually still easy to imagine. You just type so much less that I will get over it. Yeah, so very small classes is kind of the only place it would really be used. And that makes sense to me, but like there are other data class syntaxes and like ways to define things that do scale beyond, 2 parameters without looking totally horrific. Again, that's just my opinion. So like, I know that the syntax that Dart went with for this is used in other languages, like maybe Kotlin, I don't know. Other languages have already paved this path. So for many developers, including people on the Dart team who chose the syntax, it doesn't seem alien to them and they really like it. And it just feels cozy. I hope to get there. When will proper Control F on Flutter Web be available? Oh, that's a super good question. I don't know if the TLDR of what, Robert? And a little there. Control F on Flutter Web is, I think, quite a hard problem. I should ask, maybe I'll do this off screen and see if I can get an answer for you updated. I think it's a pretty challenging problem because Control F is wired into the DOM. And of course, Flutter is just a canvas. And so we'd have to like sync the semantics tree and then also sync the geometry of where the text is being rendered. I honestly think the way to do this with Flutter isn't to use a browser's normal Control F, but to bake in your own Control F, like have a widget that all the text in your app can register itself with. And then you have a Control F that Flutter also powers. And then the challenge there also as a Flutter developer, like working on that and adding it to your app is just anytime you have like a list view.builder, there are mechanics to have a list view.builder register all the children with the semantic, with screen readers and whatnot, even with those that are off screen. So you'd have to like turn that on. I don't know that Flutter is like ever going to use the browser's native thing. It is just such a DOM-based tool, and Flutter's web is, of course, not using the DOM. So I think it would be very challenging to connect those. But I could be, so selectable text is the same kind of mechanism there where like the geometry of text needs to be shared with, some kind of high-level thing. I do think that would be related. Oh, I'm definitely clicking on this because I love the I love the phrase silly Billy. Top 10 silly Billy moments when developing these next features. Oh, I don't assume by next you mean cloud next. I'm guessing you mean like the features that we're all talking about here. Oh, this is a great point. Control F does work in Jasper just fine on account of it being the DOM. I assume you mean the features that are like coming soon, like that we're talking about here. And actually, I don't know. I'm kind of not in the like line of fire day to day as much as the framework team that Kate and Justin run, and so they would actually probably have better stories for you there. But I do love the phrase silly Billy. All right, I'm going to return to this thing here so I can get this off my screen and look straight again. Yep. GenUI is the thing that we're exploring. Oh, it's just really throwing everything at the wall here. Oh, model context protocol. Oh, Dart tooling is adding support for MCP servers. You mean that thing that we added a year ago? All right. Oh, I do like this one. The primary private named parameters. That's what it is. Yeah. This is, literally, that's finally, I can read. I've been telling you guys I can read. I don't understand why you all keep saying I can't read. This is super, super nice, and also nice that it's like opt-in. You don't have to do it, but there's a Dart fix, so it's very easy to do it. This is just a really nice way to write this code as opposed to having to map kind of public names to those private internal fields in like constructor setters. That's really exciting. When you instantiate a Hummingbird class here externally, pet name and wing beats per second, hilarious. Both of those just magically don't have underscores. So calling code in a different file, you would expect that to not have access to anything that has a leading underscore. That's Dart's private variable system. Well, the underscore just doesn't exist to outside things. So that's really great. And it's not a breaking change, I don't believe, because you like couldn't do this before. I think it was actually just maybe not allowed. I know there was something. All right, I think we've done a good job looking at this. A lot of stuff is just, oh yeah, here's the decoupling. That's great. Genuinely one of the coolest changes Flutter has made in a very long time. This is going to address and open up fixes to some of Flutter's biggest areas of technical debt. Yeah. Out-of-tree platform extensions. Flutter Engine is being re-engineered so that support for emerging platforms. Oh yeah, this is very cool. There's folks who are trying to make the ability to embed Flutter on arbitrary different platforms much easier. And obviously, that's a pretty important thing for Flutter's stated goal of running anywhere a device paints pixels, as we say. All right. Yeah, it was a syntax error before having a parameter with a leading underscore. Name parameter, that is. All right, what are we building today? That's a great question. I was thinking, well, I guess I'll just immediately go back to sharing my screen and not being... I was thinking this will be kind of challenging to do on stream on account of not being able to stream a mobile device, which is the only place this could really be tested. I don't know exactly how I'm going to test this on a computer. Maybe we can even ponder that challenge. But at Google I/O, I gave a talk with Rody and a fellow from the anti-gravity game. Oh, I dropped a ton of frames there, at least on my end. We worked on a game called Dashlander. And Dashlander is vibe coded. And I'm not going to lie, the code quality is not good. But it is a demo. And the whole point of our talk was like, you can vibe code a demo pretty quickly and work I think Rhodey had this sentence in it, like fail fast to like build better or something. And the idea was just, the code that actually runs this game is not good or high quality or maintainable, or even do I know that it works correctly. You know, Gemini told me it works correctly, but like, I don't know if the scoring is actually right. But it's still a really fast way to kind of evaluate whether or not this game is fun. And if I wanted to launch this game that I'm about to play when I click this button as a business, then I would want to show that I would want to know that the code works, and I would basically just start over, and I would actually write it like for real, or vibe code it like one system at a time, and just be sure that that system works, as opposed to like, make me a game as fast as you can. So none of that has happened because it's not a business that I'm launching, so it can just stay a demo quality. Or proof of concept quality even. But there's a problem with mobile controls in that this game is impossible to play on mobile. But someone after the talk gave me the idea of breaking out the thumb controls. So having one thumb manage just the up-down thrusting and the other thumb manage the left-right RCS thrusters. And that I think would actually make this game possible to play on mobile. So doing that is my idea for what to do today. Somebody says, how do you convince Firebase team to accept Dart as a language option? Well, we've been barking up that tree for a lot of years. And, the business stars finally aligned. All right. Initiate sequence. Here we go. So this game, I think audio won't come through the stream, which is fine, even though the audio is kind of fun. So this game is like fun to play on computer because the keyboard setup, and this is dashlander.com/app is where the Flutter app is. The main site is just some Jasper. All vibe coded. That's why the main site doesn't really look like the game. Again, highly proof of concept. But this is a pretty fun game to play, and you actually can land the ship on desktop when you have a keyboard. Because on keyboard, you can actually manage and separate the main thruster from the RCS thrusters. And like whatever your brain wants you to do, you can reliably do. That is just not true with mobile. It's very hard. Your brain like kind of knows what you want to do and then is not clear at all how to get your thumb in the little flame radial joystick control to execute that. And it's not Flame's fault. The controls just require more. You can see also that this is not advancing anywhere. There's supposed to be another screen that shows the score, so I guess that's erroring. The code of this is like ungood. Where is my? I'm hitting Command Option J, and the developer tools are not coming up. What is even going on? Here we go. What error are we having here? Console error. Nice. That's good. Oh, yeah, I see the problem. Invalid double. Oh. Anyway, so we could work on this. We don't have to. That's the only idea I've got. Otherwise, we can like just keep chit-chatting. Let's code, Lucas says. All right, that's definitely a vote for it. Oh, I have to turn this down. I'm just getting started with Observable Flutter. How long does the session last, and what is the schedule? So I'll always be available. Oh my gosh. Well, the schedule is going to be a bit shaky this summer. I have just a lot of travel. So a lot of Thursdays I'm going to not be physically at home. But it's Thursday, 9 a.m. California time for about an hour and a half. Thumbs on both sides. Okay, so it's another vote for that idea. Voice control. That'd be good. All right, let's try this. Also, I'm going to see what the problem is with this by running this in debug mode. So I suppose let's do it. I recently had to update from anti-gravity to the anti-gravity IDE, and I lost all my settings, which I'm a little salty about, including like all of my recent projects. So let's do this. And where did I even put this? Probably here. No. Nice. App. There we go. There we are. Oh, do I trust the authors of this? I don't know. That Craig guy is a bit of a nightmare. He's something of a loose cannon. Many people share my anti-gravity upgrade pain. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Maybe we could discuss the split of anti-gravity into anti-gravity 2, IDE, and CLI. That's about 7 levels above my pay grade. The folks who make those decisions. So let's check this out. Literally the morning. Also, the sound is like unbelievably finicky on mobile web. And I don't really know why, because again, this stuff is vibe coded and I think there's just browser limitations there that I'm not terribly aware of. So I was talking to Rody about it, who I was giving the talk with, and he had some theories, but like the morning of this talk, like I woke up early and was attempting to vibe code fixes to the audio being terrible on phones, because like everyone in the room when I'm giving the talk is going to pull out the game on their phone, and if the audio either like can't turn it on, can't turn it off, or it's just glitchy, it's going to be terrible. I think I ended up just killing audio on mobile because it's not good, which was not the satisfying result that I was looking for, but I didn't have time to figure out why it was so bad. Let's run. Let's see what that error is. Oh yeah, I have updated Flutter since the last time I ran this on account of Flutter being released. So here we go. Thanks all for hanging out today. I appreciate it. And now we wait. Anyone got a joke? I got a joke. Does anyone know why scuba divers fall backwards into the water? Because if they fell forwards, they'd still be in the boat. Easily the best joke you've ever heard, at least this morning or day, depending on your time zone. All right. We're not off to a great start here. So this Flutter update may have caused problems. Oh, nope, there is no error. Let's try again. Oh, this is showing the wrong thing. Well, that's surprising. What port are we on here? Oh, it's in its own window. Where is that window? Oh, here it is. I forgot. I didn't run it on web server. I just ran it locally. Okay, so this didn't make any sense at all. All right. Let's close these things and play the game. And I guess I need to land to see that error. And I do have, wow, Command Shift J is just not working. Inspect. This is complicating things. All right, now I want to pop that out. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Oh God, this is an additional complicating factor that I was not accounting for when I hastily slapped this game together. So what I'm worried about here is that this game is going to turn into, or the stream is going to turn into me playing the game and not coding. But maybe game developers will be like, welcome to our life. How do I just pop this thing out? What am I even, what's going on here? Is this what I'm looking for? That's what I'm looking for. Nice. Nice. Okay. All right. So what I think I want to do is make it very easy to land. No, wait, I actually did need big code like that. All right, if I make it extremely easy to land, then I won't have to try hard to get to the end. Although that will put fake scores in the actual leaderboard. So I'm going to turn that off as well. Leaderboard screen. No, that wouldn't be in the leaderboard screen. This would be in like the game. I don't remember where this happens. Game controller. Game over. Where is the high score saved? See, the reason I don't remember where any of the code is that I never really knew in the first place. And that makes it hard to remember. Okay. This seems important. So this is the replay. What function is this in? Set game over. Okay, what does this function return? Void. So this replay, finalize replay. Oh, if the replay recorder does not equal, that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, here we go. Here's a score that's calculated. And then what do we do with that score? Nope. How did this work? Okay, I did use my package. So that makes me wonder if there's like a... Gosh, I have no idea how this works. Okay, main.dart. Hive. Replay repository. Is that it? Replay repository. Leaderboard screen. Oh, set item. That's it, I think. Yeah, God, I hate this code so much. This is literally the worst, most poorly programmed app that's ever existed. Oh, Randall, you made your website again and didn't write any code. That's pretty good. Gemini does an awesome job with Jasper. Look for code you vibe coded. Yeah, looking for code that you. Yeah. This is ungood. But we'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm pretty sure. Like, also, just how insane is it that commenting outline 165 in main.dart is where I will unplug saving new high scores. So this code is obviously unbelievably bad. And if you watch the talk that we gave, we made no promises that the code was good. It was all about exploring your idea very quickly so that if you prove to yourself that you have a good idea and that it should become a real project, you could start over and actually be serious about it. And that is the limitations of what we got out of this code base. For sure. Okay, so now if I go back to constants, I think I can make it easier to land. And then it's some other file, apparently. I think it's in maybe the scoring. Yes. Great. So max tilt. So this is how sideways you can be relative to the land that you're landing on. And let's make that really, really, really sideways. And then the max landing velocity, let's just 10x these things, and you should be able to come in pretty hot. Okay, so I have to go all the way around the world on this one. That's slightly painful. And by world, I mean meteor. I do think this is genuinely quite a cool game. The other thing that's kind of fun thinking about, and Rody talked about the code base that you vibe code being like this compressed resource that once you start programming it for real, you can use as inspiration and like a cheat code almost for the good code that you write. So like the mini map at the bottom, like that works pretty good. And there's the little line that draws as, oh yeah, I actually should be able to just land really haphazardly here, right? Nice. The line that draws that traces my path through everything, like that code works. And I don't even know how Gemini wrote it, but it works. And so when I come back and would want to resolve that in a good way, I can read that code and like take inspiration from it and probably get good ideas. And then I would just abstract it more and not have it wired into random widgets and, make it more testable and all that kind of stuff and understand how it works. But I would have such a great starting point, which is kind of fun to think about. Okay. Tense ladybug. That seems pretty good. Oh, it didn't error this time. Nice. Huh. Well, that's not fun. I'm starting to think that this is not a high quality game. So let's make sure that 8,069 didn't get saved to the leaderboard here. Error loading leaderboard. Nice. All right. And no error anywhere. That's so good. Okay. Error loading leaderboard. Is that happening on the real site? Dashlander.com/app. Leaderboard. Nice. This is good. This is really good. All right. If the snapshot has an error, I wonder if there's like Firebase limits. Y'all were actually trying to play this game. So we hit the limit on the free tier in Firebase, and I had to put my credit card in so that it would continue to load. So I don't think that would be the kind of error. At least I hope not. So if the snapshot has an error, then let's like print what that error is. How does that work? Error. Great. Okay. Missing or insufficient permissions. What? Oh my gosh. How did that change? Oh, I wonder if it was on like it works for 30 days. And the 30 days is up. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Also, I would always use, I'm a very big Postgres girly myself, so I would never use anything other than Postgres to store data. That's probably why I just punted on the security rules. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So I'm going to pull those up and actually, can you do server-side rendering in Flutter? Ooh, well, it depends. The short answer is yes, definitely yes. One way you can do server-side rendering is to have do GenUI, and the server, the AI on the server will render your UI. But that's probably not what you're asking about. There's remote Flutter widgets, RFW. That's some server-side rendering. And on the web, you can use Jasper, and that can be server-side rendered. Okay, so I need to pull up the Firebase console, which after I get loaded, I'm going to bring into the screen here. Rules. Oh, yeah. All right. Here's your problem. Look at that. That's not right at all. So, it broke 2 days ago. That's great. You know what? I don't really want to work on Firebase controls today. So, Man, I really should. I should have like something. So let's do... No, because these, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to kick this can down the road for another month. This is pod racing, folks. Okay, so now I'm going to restart here. And I do a for real restart. And we're going to get a for real leaderboard, I think. Nice. And... okay. Whoa, people have good scores. Clever Herring has been crushing it. Oh my gosh, Clever Herring. Dominating. I don't know who you are. Wow. Let's watch Clever Herring's top playthrough. So this would be, oh, that's probably why the thing errored when it landed. It tried to write the high score, but yeah, but it had Firebase permissions, so it failed. So I don't think we actually have to track down that crash anymore. That's good. Okay, what am I doing here? Let's play against it. Let's see what Clever Herring did. Okay, yeah, going out here. Looking good, looking good. Clever Herring, just slightly off the screen almost. Are you going to land here? What are you doing, Clever Herring? Nope, going around. Okay, good stuff. 2.3, nice, love it. Oh, is that our target? Looks like it is. Oh, 2.7, dude, come to 2.7. Yeah, nice. Oh, get back here, get back here. Oh yeah, I can land very erratically here because I am cheating. Haha, take that. Anyway, that shouldn't have been saved. Oh yeah, okay, so 16423. Menu 16423. Shouldn't have been written, hopefully. Whoa. Why are we dropping these frames? What's going on, man? That was crazy. 16423. Well, it's close to this, but different. All right. Let's actually do the controls that I set out to do after having the misleading red herring, if you will, not to be confused with the clever herring of the Firestore database being locked down. Yes. So now let's look at controllers. Given that I did not write this code in the first place, I'm not going to try to start now. So I'm going to say the controls on mobile are very challenging. And I went back and forth with Gemini about this, trying to, it was always writing what I asked it to write, but I was just trying to figure out what to even ask it to write. So, Gemini's been down this path before. Not that this session will remember that. The controls on mobile are very challenging. I want to update them such that there are 2 joysticks. One in the bottom left and one in the bottom right. Let's say one in the bottom left to control the main thruster, and one in the bottom right to control the side, the RCS thrusters, which stands for like Reaction Control System or something, which is an acronym that I learned when Rody first said it when we started this project. I had never heard of RCS thrusters. Of course, this will require the mini map to be relocated, as it is in the bottom left corner, as it is currently in the bottom left corner. I am thinking that could possibly go in the top center below the HUD. But I am open to ideas. You can see how this code base got to be so bad. please refactor the mobile control system to have the left thumbstick activate the main thruster when the user presses up, I'll say, and the right thumbstick to activate the RCS thrusters when the user presses left or right. We can remove any orientation tilt mapping code from previous implementations. Yeah, should it just be 3 binary buttons like the arrow keys? I thought about that a lot. I just don't know if it would be that easy to press them on the phone. You'd have to like hold the phone in one hand and then kind of have your 3 fingers there that you press on. I did think about that a lot. You'd also kind of just like lose it, but maybe that is it. Maybe it should be that. If this isn't easy, that'll be the next plan, I think. Did anyone here try to embed a Flutter web app inside a web page? It's been a while since I've done that. It is doable unless the APIs have succumbed to bit rot. That should be very doable. All right, let's read this implementation plan. We're going to modify the things, and we're going to replace the single joystick with 2 separate joysticks. That sounds familiar. On load, initialize both joysticks if playing on a mobile platform. That would be if the width is less than 800. Sure. And of course, the keyboard would still work. So if someone was playing on a desktop and they just were under 800, they'll see the thumbsticks, but they can still use the keyboard. So then position it, that looks right. Use custom themed background and knob for styling. A premium aesthetic. Ooh, love that. I like a premium thing. Remove the HUD background and its ship angle sector rendering. Yeah. Refactor input processing. So left is joystick. Yeah, I'm not sure about this less than -0.15, but I also don't really know what the API. I've never actually looked at this joystick stuff, so maybe that's right. We'll know pretty quickly when we test it, I think. Again, yeah, so less than negative. I'm real suspicious that this means it's on unless you like turn it off by pulling down in the other direction. But we'll see. Because if that's what it is, that is wrong. Actually, I'm just going to ask. What is caps lock going on with, I'm about to cover this, but not just yet. What is going on with the negative 0.15 value as the threshold? I would have assumed the threshold should be 0. Which model works best with Flutter? Well, presumably the model that works best with Flutter is the most expensive model. Otherwise, somebody made a big mistake. But if you factor in your cost, then it's probably Flash. Okay, so on virtual joysticks, using 0 as a threshold makes the controls extremely sensitive and jittery. Oh, I see. To prevent this, there's a dead zone. Okay. So a dead zone is fine. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't default on with the user having to pull down on the left joystick to deactivate the main thruster, for example. So after it clarifies this for me, I think we'll be moving. So negative Y direction is up, so that's pushing up. Is that what it said? So it needs to be less than, oh, yeah, okay. You're right. Does that make sense? So rest assured, it says it will not be always on. Good. Great. So that means proceed. Relocate the minimap. Oh, I forgot to read that. Yeah, it's probably fine. Oh yeah, it even thought of this, which I didn't. But that is a good idea. That is what it should do. Woo! All right. Well, hey, we're about to test. Who was it that asked? Tarisha something. Looks like it's a compressed version of your name. But we'll see how good Flash is right now. We are getting a big edit here that we'll see how it works. Okay, I do want to read this code. Oh, but I still need to scroll right down. No, it's probably in this Dashlinder game. Yeah. Okay, so let's give ourselves a little breathing room. Okay, so la. So the left joystick, that's good. And then we're going to have a right joystick. That's great. Okay, so then we add both joysticks to the camera. Next, we have, fixed update. I wonder why that's called fixed, whatever. Okay, so if the left joystick does not equal null, then we get its delta. His joystick's up, changed equals true. So let's see what this change thing is doing. So if changed, update combined input state. Interesting. Let's see what that does. Update combined input state. That is, aha. Oh, nice. Yeah. Great. Cool. Okay. I think this is good. So let's accept the changes and run it. And just, I'm not going to be able to have two thumbs on the screen here. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to test it. Probably just going to deploy it, and then we can all pull out our phones and play it and see if it doesn't stink. So let's refresh. And here we are. Let's, first of all, actually go into mobile view, which I'll do by doing this. I'm going to move this out of the screen. And now I'm going to play a random seed. And okay, that's pretty good. Oh, nice. I don't know how easy this is going to be. Won't know until I'm actually using my honest to goodness thumbs. But yeah, let's try here. Okay, so I crashed there, by the way, because we landed not on, impacted raw jagged terrain. So we just missed the landing pad entirely. We weren't going too fast for our cheater mode. So I'm not going to actually just have to revert the cheater mode stuff because this is going to build from my computer. So it will still deploy cheater mode even if I don't git commit it. So I'm going to do this. Now let's see what we got here. I am going to leave high scores off still while I make these changes. I don't know if that actually makes sense. No, I don't think we have to do that. Let's turn that off. So then this whole file should go away. I don't think anything else changed. Something changed. What changed? Hello? What changed? Why am I not seeing the split screen here? I'm really confused by that. All right, this looks good. The HUD, I didn't even notice. Let's try it again. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, that's perfect. This is good. Okay. Cool. Main.dart. What is different about you? White space. Cool. Revert. So this is going to be converts mobile controls to dual joystick system. And now I will deploy. Make files. What did I have? Nope. How did I? It's like there's a file somewhere. There's a script. Oh, it's probably up a level. It's up a level. That's the issue. Let's do code, AGY up a level. I should have just opened that in the first place. So, looking good. I think it's in site. Deploy. Yeah, there we are. So we build, cool. This is what I'm going to run. So, deploy. Insight. Nice. Deploy. What? Oh, I'm saying CD. I'm so good at my job. I know how to computer. Change directory into the deploy script. All right. Reading. Yeah. You mirror your phone to your laptop? I probably could, but that's my phone. And people might message me about random things. So, okay, another idea here. Would a button instead of a left joystick be a better solution? So the left joystick, yeah, so it would be just Boolean, right? So you press it, and then the other one is like, has 3 states, which is left, nothing, or right. So that could be true and would be worth testing. I feel like the ergonomics of like you're pushing the ship up, that kind of like might make sense, and it might map better with the other controller where you're also kind of physically pushing the ship around. So I'm going to stick with this to start, but I think these button ideas or just like virtual 3 arrow keys are all pretty good ideas. But everyone is shortly going to be about to test this out. Where is my phone? Found it. Very excited to see this deploy finish and test this live with everyone. Our leaderboard is going to be highly hackable now. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, something else is using the port. Is that actually important for deploying? Does Jasper build need the port? That's not what I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the other thing using the port. That's happening over here. Killing that window. Is there another one? There is. Those are all killed. I'm back. I'm going to comment out this because I don't need it anymore. Deploy should be faster. Apparently I have to talk like this now. Okay. And now we're deploying to Firebase hosting. Yeah, generate button for commit messages now. It actually is really fast. I did press it the other day, and I was like, why did I press that? Now I have to wait for Gemini to write a commit message for me. But it came back in like less than a second, or like a second. So it did work pretty good. Okay, dashlander.com, which is not the URL that this is reminding us about, but I'm going to load dashlander.com on my phone, and let's see if it doesn't stink. Pulling up Safari, going to dashlander.com, clicking initiate sequence, narrating my every action, play random seed. All right, here we go, boys. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, so I think I kind of want to allow people to... This is actually playable now. I think this basically solves the problem. Like, there's probably still fine-tuning, and I want to allow people to either invert the left or right controls or not, like whatever makes sense for somebody's brain. I think the default right now is kind of confusing. But you could get used to it. All right, this is playable. We did it, boys. We did it! And girls. All right. Now that we're absolute wizards of this, I don't want you. Last build ID. Do I want this? I don't know. Sure. Oh, that's a get ignored file. Never mind then. Wait, what? Why is it? What? The following paths are ignored by one of your get ignore files. Then why am I seeing it here? Should I guess because it was added in the first place. So I need to like git remove it. Git remove web app last build ID. I guess I do that. There's local modifications. It's like, that's not what I want. It's for you to whine at me about that. There we go. So let's generate a commit for that. See what it says. Removes the thing. That is what it does. All right. What else might we do? Because my only idea has now been completed. And that is the power of vibe coding. Folks, to be honest, I really streamed today because I wasn't here for a month, and I'm not going to be here next week because our team has an offsite that I'll be at on Thursday. I did not stream today because I had anything that was really pressing that I wanted to do. Just wanted to check in with everybody, say hi, see all of your lovely faces. Yeah, shipped it all right. I mean, it's shipped already. This is the ultimate test in production. Let me tell you. Deploy changes, and then on a live stream, encourage everyone watching to just play the new game and report back on whether or not it stinks. If anyone has ever tested in production more than that, I want them to call me on the phone, tell me what they did. All right, well, this is it could be maybe the shortest observable Flutter of any of our lifetimes, but I think I might call it here on account of not needing to drag this out and just fill a bunch of dead air, you know? It's not like an event where the MC has to fill time because the main speaker is in the bathroom or something like that. I can actually just end the stream. And I think I am going to do that. So, did I get to all the starred questions? No, I didn't do any of them. I'm so smart. Okay, when will Material 3 Expressive be available in Flutter? Well, that has been strategically paused and will be unlocked as a possible effort after the decoupling. So I don't know what priority it will receive, but it will be capable of receiving a better priority after decoupling is implemented and landed, which is going really, really well and is going to land very soon. So there's hope. I forget exactly how to say this company name. I'm probably going to butcher it. But any updates on Xiaomi's system apps rewrite in Flutter? Oh, yeah. So they have a huge fork of Flutter that they maintain for their own purposes. I did not know that they were writing their system app in Flutter. And thus, you probably can guess that I do not have an update. But that's cool. And now I want to know more about it. But I know they have their own big fork of Flutter. And are we going to utilize WebGPU in Flutter Web? This is the question that I said, you know what? I'm going to at least do you the honor of telling you that I don't know the answer to your good question, and this is that question. And I don't know the state of WebGPU in Flutter Web, but you ask good questions, and I'll try to find out. And then if you ask again in 2 weeks, when Observable Flutter returns to a live stream near you, maybe I will have the answer. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in today on this slightly improvised, off-the-cuff, by the seat of our pants, et cetera, live stream. I had a good time. Hopefully you had a good time. Something that I was probably not going to actually ever get around to doing otherwise. Implementing the 2 joystick controls is now done. And that code base can just continue to be its own thing. And it's living its life. I'm very happy for it. So, folks, happy fluttering. All the best. And I will see you in 2 weeks.